microwave man.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So you do have to keep a timer.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. Appreciate you coming out. It's probably not going to rain too hard until later on, so we'll try to get you guys out of here. First thing on the agenda is going to be public comments. These are public comments that you are entitled to step up, speak your mind. I'm going to limit you to 5 minutes tonight since we have so many people. And go ahead and state your name and your address. And we will be clocking you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Wood, and I live at 1310 Sherwood Drive, right where the proposed road would come out. I have a letter from my husband. He couldn't be here because he's on business, so I'm just going to take the bullet points and I'll hand you his letter because it's kind of lengthy. I oppose, and we both oppose, both 5C and D on the agenda, the request for temporary use permit and the rezoning request. The traffic in our neighborhood already right now, since we've had 2 developments happen since we moved in 2001, it's been crazy. We have a transient neighborhood now. We don't even have homeowners. We have more renters. It's become more of a college town, and that's why we purposely bought in Christiansburg, so we would not be in a college town where we had that. The safety of our neighbors due to the excessive speed. Because of the transient nature of our neighborhood, we constantly have new people, the speed at which they're traveling on the roads, and they were never meant for this. When it was originally built, it was a very small place, and we live right in that. It used to be a cul-de-sac. The urbanization of Christiansburg, we bought here because it wasn't urbanized. It was a quiet community. And I know if any of you, I'm sure you've either been through our neighborhood to look, that none of you would want to have happen in your neighborhood that's happening to ours, unless you like urbanization. I can't know that. When we have snow, the hazard of getting up the hill from Sherwood Drive up to the upper part of Sherwood Drive is crazy. We've had to park down below many, many times for a couple of days at a time because we can't get up that hill. We're only imagining with that many more people and only one access out of our neighborhood how that would be for all of us. It's already dangerous. Let me see. Well, I'm going to end there, and I just want to hand to you all the letter that my husband wrote because he put it really well, and I just didn't want to read it because, like I said, it's pretty lengthy. But thank you for listening.
We can hand them out if you want to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Is this comment for items on the agenda or off the agenda?
Any comment?
Yeah, sure. Chris Thomas, also from the Sherwood neighborhood. I'm really glad to see an interest in building more housing, especially affordable housing in town. But the town must reject, the rezoning request for this parcel for safety and quality of life reasons. As you know, the planned townhomes would be accessed from what was once the eastward cul-de-sac of Sherwood Drive. Sherwood Drive itself and the entire Hans Meadow neighborhood are really only accessible by a largely uncontrolled intersection with Depot Street. That intersection was part of the original Hans Meadow development back in the 1980s, and despite the neighborhood more than tripling in size since then, it's never been revisited by the town. Today, the intersection represents a single vulnerable choke point through which all traffic in and out of the neighborhood must pass. The neighborhood is the largest enclave of homes in Christiansburg, severable from the rest of the city by the closure of one single street. As it happens, that street is situated in the floodplain of Crab Creek. This was probably a reasonable civil engineering decision back when the neighborhood was planned, but that today it means that hundreds of Christiansburg residents are beyond the reach of emergency services in the event of a flash flood like we're having today. Adding another 90 townhomes behind this bottleneck seems unwise. Unfortunately, the infrastructure problems don't stop there. Traffic to the proposed development would almost certainly flow down Sherwood Drive rather than taking the newer, longer, and steeper route around the water tower. This takes that traffic through a section of Sherwood in which the road splits around an island, and this traffic pattern is a really challenging one. It stumps visitors and delivery drivers almost daily, and most residents have had at least one close call with someone who ended up going the wrong way down a one-way street. Often, that someone is driving a dump truck. Re-engineering this section of road would be a significant undertaking for the town and would require repaving and regrading all of the driveways for the residents along that section of Sherwood Drive at all, so I'm sure you can understand why that seems like not a great idea. But these are not new problems. In retrospect, they should have been raised before the town approved the Robin Hood project on the hillside surrounding the water tower, and probably should have blocked the Maid Marian townhome development altogether. They cannot be unwound, but I urge the town not to compound them. The roads linking the proposed development with the rest of Christiansburg are 50 years old. They were engineered to serve a small, sleepy subdivision consisting of a couple dozen single-family homes. Even at their widest, they are narrower than the town standard, they are unmarked, they lack sidewalks, street-level parking makes bi-directional travel impossible, and pedestrians are already at real risk due to the volume of traffic which has no other ingress or egress route. There is no safe way to accomplish a large construction project at the far end of Sherwood Drive. It is frankly a miracle that no one was hurt or killed in the Maid Marian project. There is also no safe way to introduce another 90 townhomes worth of cars to the already choked streets, and no feasible plan to guarantee the nearly 300 homes that would represent access to emergency services. Now, as some of you might know, my family lost a home this weekend in the flooding in Pulaski County. I'm here tonight to ask you, to beg you, not to take another one from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I will remind you all that all the commissioners have had a chance to view the video and all of your comments from the previous meeting. So maybe to speed up some of the things that if we're duplicating it, I won't stop you from speaking, but just to let you know that we've all seen the video and we all had to sign an affidavit saying that we did see it. So just to put your mind a little bit at ease.
My apologies.
No problem. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Please state your name and address.
Mary Stewart, 1160 Sherwood Drive. And y'all will remember me from the last meeting. I'm the lady with the questions. I don't know if you'll permit me to ask questions tonight or not. But I did want to discuss, first of all, I wanted to thank you all and to recognize the staff members preparing the agenda, the packets, the minutes, all their attention to detail. We really appreciate all of you too. I'm strongly opposed to items 5C and D on the agenda. And since we last met, I've been busy. I've been counting traffic, counting houses, getting petitions signed, and I've enjoyed laughing at myself because what I make up for in stature, I've got a great mind. I thought we were gonna get 90 townhomes and Mary Stewart was gonna figure out how to move that traffic. So I was offering up the poor people on Hungate, Scott, Justin, anywhere but Sherwood. So, humble me. I counted traffic along with my precious neighbor, Trish, in the parameters of what Mr. Simonis gave us. The study from a book of formula of increased traffic of 43 vehicles from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., 51 vehicles from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., 90 townhomes. That was what that formula came up with. So on 9/20 in the evening, 4 to 6 p.m., which was a Friday, our 161 homes, which includes the 34 townhouses on Maid Marian, we had 215 cars. On 9/23, which was a Monday morning, 175. On 9/26 in the morning, 140. That evening, we had 201. Based on the current houses, 161, on 9/20, that was 133%, 9/23, 108%, 9/26 in the morning, 87%, and 9/26 in the evening, 124%. Now, I respect the study, the formula, but I do challenge the validity of it. Based on the calculations of our traffic data, the AM number would be 78 vehicles just from the 90 townhomes. That's in the morning, and 112 in the evening. So translate your 4351 to those numbers. It's almost doubled in the morning and more than doubled in the evening. I have some questions. Mr. Johnson, am I allowed to ask questions?
You asked away.
You're almost out of time.
You get 30 seconds.
What year did Mr. Woody originally request access out the Tractor Supply food line area? And I would request that Mr. Simonis calculate using the same formula that he used for the other area, the 90 townhomes, to do that calculation on the 161 homes we currently have, and let me know what that number is, because I want to see the disparity. The disparity I'm seeing is great. And also, I have a question for you. Is there a timeline when you have to take action on a proposal? Can it linger on for months, years, or do you have a certain period of time that it has to be addressed?
Well, I'll
Retta.
refer to staff on that, to answer that question.
I can wait for an answer. I'm patient. I can keep
It's in our
talking.
code.
So Retta, did you hear the?
I did. It's in our code.
Can I
Working
talk
on
while
the
she
plan.
looks?
What a clever way to get more time.
I practiced at home and I was 2 minutes over my 5-minute limit. So I was trying to figure out how to get it.
And you're right on track. So why don't we move on, and Retta, I'll let you continue to look at that, and as you find it, we'll bring it up to your attention.
Okay.
Okay.
So do I have 2 minutes?
No.
No?
You're done. Thank you, though.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I do have papers. I sent an email today.
Please state your name and
Oh.
address.
Trish Knighton, 1105 Sherwood Drive.
Thank you, Trish.
I've got copies of the emails I sent today. because you probably don't have copies of them. I also have,
We have it.
you do?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay, great. And I have petitions, and some of the signatures on here are not in our neighborhood, and the reason why is because some of these grandparents that come and keep children, walk children to the bus stops, and things like that are on here. And plus, the inclement weather has really screwed up our petition signing, so.
Of course.
Anyway, that's what we've got so far,
Okay,
and
thank you.
I was not here last time, so all this stuff will be new to your ears. I'm opposed to the rezoning request and conditional use permit that's been requested by Roger Woody. I'm also opposed to any delay that might be requested by Mr. Woody or his agent requesting more time to contact the owner of the land, Tractor Supply and Food Line. It is my understanding that there have been many attempts over the years to gain that right of way, all of which have been unsuccessful by Mr. Woody. I bought my home in April of 2013, and one of the reasons that I chose Hines Meadow is the rural feel of the neighborhood with its wooded lots, but the convenience of being close to grocery, drugstores, and hopping on the bypass to my daily commute to Blacksburg to work. I've since then retired, so I do walk a lot. I have a dog. I walk several times a day. You've heard about the safety conditions due to the amount of traffic that we already have in our neighborhood, with drivers not adhering to the speed limit signs or the stop signs. The addition of townhouses would greatly add to the existing safety issues. As homeowners, we maintain them and take pride in our home and surroundings. Renters are oftentimes transient and only needing a place to live temporarily while either going to school or looking for a house to buy. These additional 90 townhomes would be a mix of owners and renters per the agent of Mr. Woody, but mostly renters, I would imagine. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hi, my name's Heidi Wengert, and I live also in the Hans Meadow neighborhood at 295 Robin Hood Drive. And you cannot see the comments that I submitted in your packet because they're all blanked out. But I share my neighbors' concerns about this proposed 90 townhome development. I purchased my home in Hans Meadow 12 years ago, again, because it was a development of single family homes. It was a safe neighborhood. It was easy to walk in. And it's going to be completely destroyed if we have another 90 townhomes come in there with one way in and one way out. So you can read more detail in my comments, but I have safety concerns, I have infrastructure concerns, traffic concerns, green space concerns with his proposed development, and parking with only 2 spaces per townhome allocated. We know from the Maid Marian townhomes that the number of bedrooms is far more indicative of how many cars we're going to have, where are they going to park, where are guests going to park. Those are all concerns. And lastly, I would state that if any of us wanted to live in high-density housing, we live in Northern Virginia and not here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Virgil Hayes, 1315 Sherwood Drive. 90 townhomes with 2 parking spaces each is a potential of 180 cars coming in and out. And I oppose the whole thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Melissa Swain, 1325 Sherwood Drive. I'm right next door to the Maid Marian, which already clear cut the forest out behind our property. We've gone through that. First we went through the whole mess on the hill as well. We too bought our home to have our family to grow up on Sherwood Drive in a safe neighborhood where we could play with our kids out on the street. I now have grandkids, and there's no way I would take my kids out to play in the same street that I taught all my kids how to ride their bikes. And it's a shame. I feel bad for the families that are raising their kids in Sherwood now, instead of going, yeah, this is a great place for kids. It's dangerous. I watch them come in and out all the time right there at Maid Marian. and you add another intersection right there, it's gonna be awful. So I too oppose the rezoning. I think Christiansburg, I think we got it right the first time. I think that top should be zone business, and it should stay zone business. And you don't allow the conditional use permit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hello.
Randy, can you grab that door for us? Thank you.
Andrew Tweed, 1140 Sherwood. I thank you for reviewing the previous video, so I'll keep it brief. I'm just here to reiterate my opposition, stand in solidarity with my neighbors for the reasons that so many of them have already pointed out. My understanding is the tract that we're talking about currently has 2 drainage ponds on it, so I'm not sure that the plan really accounts for that, and I believe that was put in place to help address some previous flooding issues at the end of Sherwood there. So I think that should be noted. I'm also unsure if this proposal even qualifies for an R3 zoning. Looks like there's not enough open space, and it looks like it may be too narrow for emergency vehicles to successfully navigate. So thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Bob Mayville. I want to thank you very much for hearing all of us out. I'm at 295 Robin Hood, and I know that I've been here not way back to 2012, but during construction of several different properties and so forth. The roads do get hectic, so it is definitely a safety hazard, and Mr. Woody and his crew, they don't work 9 to 5. It's usually early in the morning, sometime somewhere around 7-ish, and they go until they can't see anymore. And they also work at least 6 days a week, so keep that in mind. So with their traffic and the additional traffic on those roads, very dangerous. And it is a quiet neighborhood. I'm sure some of you guys live in quiet neighborhoods. You wouldn't want this to happen in your area. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
I am, excuse me, Susie Schaefer Schumann, and I live on Sherwood Drive. Not making any of that up. Anyway, we have lived there since 1990. There are myself and 2 other neighbors that have lived there as long as we have. If I could sum up my concern in a phrase, it would be damage to homes and properties and streets. I say that because we've endured many floods back in Sherwood. A foot of water on May 9th, 2009, in 3 homes. It was Tech's graduation, a foot of water in their basement, all from the building above us. We had 20 bags of debris and trash that we had to pack up on our son's graduation from Tech. Family was coming in, they offered to help. I came immediately down to the town because I had a pretty good relationship with Lance Turpenny and Mayor Lingus, and Lance assured me he would take care of it. They put in drainage, French drains behind us, up above us, and he, true to his word, went up every week to check on them. We had the corner house on Hans Meadow, and Sherwood was blown away, the bottom of it, like what we're seeing right now in Tennessee and North Carolina and other places, from water. So they did a lot of rearranging of drainage ditches. We still get water back there. I'm so concerned about 90 more townhomes. And like the gentleman before me said, 2 drainage ditches there, 1 catty corner from Jerry Hanline's property. I'm not a town planner, obviously. I don't know how that's going to work. Today, just a few hours ago, there was a gas leak on Sherwood Drive, catty corner from my house. My husband and I came upon our street with fire trucks, no police vehicles, because this has happened before, all kinds of cars lining both sides of the street. And passage for about 3 or 4 hours was almost impossible in the section halfway down Sherwood to the cul-de-sac where the 90 townhome road is going to come out. I couldn't help but think, is this a foreshadowing of things to come with 90 townhomes, each having 2 cars apiece, trying to get in and out. No room for the fire truck or the other fire truck vehicle driven by the assistant fire chief to even move. And that is a possibility. Billy Hanks was there, and I want to say right now, one of my favorite people in Christiansburg. I say that because when Jimmy Radford was building his property, his 34 townhomes, which has absolutely caused the most destruction to our neighborhood. Not the homes above us, but Jimmy's 34 townhomes. During that time, I called Billy Hanks on 3 occasions for unattended fires. The firemen that were standing next to Billy told me they came up and put up 3 separate brush fires. And then Billy and I looked at the place in the street as you go up to Sherwood toward the stop sign where the street had caved in from all Jimmy Radford's trucks filled with dirt and concrete that lasted for over a year. And Billy Hanks commented on the damage to the street. So again, I am concerned with this proposed building of 90 townhomes, how it'll affect the flooding back there, the roads back there, our houses back there, the kids back there. I beg you, please save our neighborhood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
I've been on the phone all day, so I'm sorry if my voice is really creaky. My name is Destiny Taylor, and I live at 1195 Sherwood Drive. I do not support this rezoning or CUP in any way. Mr. Woody has no intentions of building his proposed development to create more affordable housing in the New River, but instead to build the quickest housing possible at the lowest cost possible, on land that he has not been able to develop for decades. If his intention was quality, affordable housing, he would be trying to conform to the neighborhood he developed 30+ years ago with custom single-family homes. Instead, he is attempting to conform to a development of townhomes that was by right. This would put densely populated townhome communities, both with 0 recreational space, directly next to each other. Hans Meadow is not designed for any more traffic. We have no sidewalks or crosswalks, and our roads are very poorly lit at night. Approval of either of these requests would be irresponsible and unsafe, and I urge you to reject this reckless proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else?
Denman Westmoreland, 1165 Sherwood Drive. And the only thing I want to say is that I've got a 2-year-old grandson who I have to watch during the week because of child care reasons. They ain't got no money. And so I had to take him up to the road to play, but you can't hardly do that. I live on a cliff. If you know anything about that area, you know it's pretty cliffy. And I can't let him play down there, so I have to take him to the road. And I'm always scared to death that somebody's going to run him over. About once every 2-3 hours, I actually check on him. But that was a joke. Never mind.
We were gonna go for it. We were with you 100%.
But anyway, I just oppose this because traffic is already terrible, and it's just going to be worse. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else? Sure.
Pat Somerville, and I own the home at 70 Justin Lane. I spoke last week, but I just want to reiterate that I'm opposed to this development due to all the different things that the people from Sherwood Forest, they said it succinctly. I'm wondering, is the town, if you all approve this, are you all going to install sidewalks, lighting, and all the other things that should be done for the amount of traffic that is going to go through this neighborhood? Also, I want to reiterate Mr. Orndorff last time from my neighborhood, Justin Lane Townhomes. He indicated that, or made us aware of the fact that with the train station down in Cambria, that Depot Street would be high amount of traffic there, and the Sherwood development intersects there with all these vehicles coming in and out of there. So that's a massive danger and a big problem. I'm also concerned about some of the lots, a few lots of the Justin Lane townhomes, White Oaks townhomes, border this development. I am concerned that at some time that some way or the other a private lane from one of these lots could be connected from the road that they have on that 90 townhome lot development, could be connected if, say, perhaps Mr. Woody bought one of those lots and he just had a private driveway through that lot onto Justin Lane. I'm concerned about access there. Is there some way that there's a condition could be put on this, or to prohibit any access from our lots, a lot there in our townhome development, accessing the road there? So, in other words, I don't want Justin Lane to become another exit for these townhomes. Also, it also could, even if Mr. Woody got the permission from the Tractor Supply or the shopping center for a street there, then that also affects, we do have some lots from Justin Lane that border that also. So I'm very concerned about at some point in time that, so I'm concerned that a condition should be put on it. Another thing is, if there's, I don't see how you could approve this if it's only one entrance and exit down there at the cul-de-sac. I would think that you would have to, that you should wait and see if he can get the full approval of the shopping center before you even consider approving this. I don't see how you could approve it with just one entrance and exit for all the reasons that these people have given. I think that's all I have to say. They've said it all.
Well,
Thank
you very
you.
much. Okay, anyone else?
Lori Bond, 1280 Sherwood Drive, lived there 30 years. And just for the record, my husband Kent and I absolutely oppose this proposed development. I think the unintentional consequences could just be devastating to our neighborhood and everything everyone else has said. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing no one else coming up, I'm going to close the public comment section and take a second here and thank every one of you for your comments. You guys make our job easy, believe it or not, to the extent that your involvement and your participation in these meetings and your sharing of information that we may or may not be aware of. So I appreciate it and thank you very much. So moving on to, and let me clarify something. We have a couple agenda items to take place, and then we have some actions to take place tonight on 5A, B, C, and D. You're welcome to stay around. I think you will stay around. So we'll just continue to move on. So agenda item Number 3, approval of planning commission meeting minutes for July 29th. I trust commissioners, everyone's read them. Any comments, any changes? If not, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the July 29th meeting minutes.
I can second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Likewise, agenda item number 4, approval of planning commission minutes for September 16th, 2024. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for September 16th meeting.
I'll second. Go ahead.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on. So tonight we have really 4 actions to take place, and I'm thinking out loud here as to, with all the people here, of switching A and B with C and D and doing C and D first. So, sorry guys. That way we can get you all home.
Hill, before we talk about that, do we have an update on the length of time that might be helpful as we discuss the
Good point.
Yes.
length of time on delaying?
Yes. So in our code, it was just about the applicant and how long they have to finish the project. However, in the Code of Virginia, it defers to the Code of Virginia. It is that you have 100 days after the first meeting of the commission, which was September 16th. And if it is longer than that, it's deemed as an approval. So it would be deemed approved if it was past 100 days from the first meeting, which was September the 16th.
And to be clear, if for some reason we went 100 days in Plan Commission and it defaulted to approve, that's still a recommendation, correct? Or is it 100 days deemed approved by the town council? Is it 100 days of Plan Commission not taking action? Because anything that we do is not approval, it's all recommendation to town council, who is the final vote. Nothing that we do is final.
Right. It would be approval for planning commission.
It would be a recommendation then to town council automatically that we approve it if we take no action for 100 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Can you do it at the podium, please, so folks online can hear? Thank you.
Good point.
I'm getting those 2 minutes when So if there's a request to delay or defer by the applicant, is that still calculating in the 100 days?
I would say so, yes.
And we have to, an applicant can request all they want, but ultimately, we as a planning commission decide if we are going to take action or if we are going to delay. So an applicant can request what they want, but we as a planning commission decide if we're going to honor that request or not. They don't get to just delay without us agreeing to that in some capacity.
Okay, and while I've got the microphone. So my request to, when the year that Mr. Woody first tried to gain access, the right-of-way, who's gonna answer that for me and when?
I'll have to defer to staff, town staff.
You don't have any. Do you want to repeat the question?
What year did Mr. Woody originally seek a right-of-way access out the Tractor Supply food line?
Do you know
Right.
the first year?
That'd probably really be a question for Mr. Wood. I don't necessarily, I can't necessarily tell you when he first contacted. I know he's been trying to contact for a couple of years now.
Okay. And, should I contact Mr. Simonis separately about the calculation? Because that was the formula they presented, the 4351. Should I reach out to Mr. Simonis separately outside of this meeting to request that?
You're more than welcome to. I'm sure he'll be happy to work with you. And just to repeat what was said, that the answer to your question was most likely Mr. Woody would have to identify that date when he first contacted the Tractor Supply Company.
Okay.
That wouldn't necessarily come through the town.
So I just wanted to
Okay.
get it on record for the video, because it's tough to hear if you're not at the microphone.
Right.
And then I'll just add, as far as the transportation numbers are concerned, as Chairperson Johnson said, y'all bring up information that's important for us. So we as a planning commission, as you all bring things to light, we have the opportunity to go back to the applicant and say, hey, we want to delay because we want X, Y, and Z information. So what you're about to experience is us having that conversation. What information do we feel like we have that we can make a decision? What information do we feel like we might still want? So maybe we want to wait for that. So it's possible that one of us says, hey, there's been a lot of concerns about the transportation numbers. Can we learn more about how that works? What would that look like? So it's possible that we might ask that information. If for some reason that's not something that we request today, I would stick around and see what we ask from the applicant. Then at that point in time, you can get that information. I mean, they have the right to respond or not respond. What we've always seen is the applicants tend to try and have a positive working relationship with the community members. So if you approach them with a question, they're usually going to try and work with community members to answer those. But again, you bring up a lot of questions. We might be interested in the information ourselves. So let's just wait and see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you are correct. They've been very cordial with me with my questions
Very good.
because I have been contacting them.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you.
So in our discussion period here on these two items, I do have some questions, and Steve, appreciate you sticking around here. Couple things that were brought up. Green space in a R3. On the proposed plan, does that meet all the requirements as a R3 is required right now?
Right, so with a townhouse development, we're not actually required to have a certain number of green space
Okay,
acres
that's
like you
right.
would an apartment complex.
That's right.
But we do have some open space shown on the northern side of the townhomes. And we do have plenty of green space, but as far as active recreation space, we just have a small area because of the grade as it drops off to those stormwater facilities.
Well, I got you. We always go through this, Tom always brings it up, surprised he hasn't already.
I haven't had a chance to talk to you.
Emergency vehicles, it has to pass a certain, requirement for vehicles to be able to turn around in that complex and get
Right.
there. Has all that study been done and it does meet the requirements?
Yes, sir. The road that we would propose to come off of Sherwood would be a full-size town, town standard road. Once you get into the development, it would have the town standard width of our drive aisles, the appropriate radii around our corners, and we already have, water lines and fire hydrants shown, within the development itself.
How wide is the street?
24 feet would be the minimum, but I think most of those are 30 feet. And then Mr. Bernard.
And does the sidewalk have a curb and gutter, or is it equal to the road?
Sidewalks typically would have a curb and gutter.
Okay.
And we do have that loop through the property, so you don't get in there and just dead end into the townhomes. You do have a loop around two connection points into the main.
A ladder truck needs 22 feet to set up.
Right, we've got, we do have more than 22 feet.
So I'm gonna ask the question that pertains to the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
The road from Tractor Supply. What's the chances of something like that happening, and is that soon, or is that 100 days from now?
Right.
Or,
So,
what's
as you
the
all
latest?
know, I reached out to staff on Friday, and I forwarded you all an email late last night, requesting, planning commission to give us an extra 2 weeks. So a little bit of history for those of you that weren't there, even though you watched the video. We started this project about 2 years ago. And after we got a layout together, our first task after that was to sit down with town staff and Randy, and we talked through that access. There were concerns then about coming before planning commission and council without that access in there. Mr. Woody and his partners at the time made phone calls, sent certified letters to this property owner that's out of New York. We didn't get any response. We followed back up with the town, I don't know, several months ago before we submitted this application. Mr. Woody wanted to go ahead and get something going. We met with the town manager and the assistant town manager at the time, and I believe the engineering director met with us as well. We had the same conversation. Actually, Randy was able to start making some phone calls as well, so he hit it from the town side. We did from our side, and Randy was actually able to get a contact. It turns out and I'm sorry, I'm fighting a cold, so I'm sorry I'm congested tonight, but one of the property managers for the ownership group was actually going to be in town the next day. It was just happenstance when Randy called her. Randy provided her cell phone number to us. We shared it with Roger. Roger got in touch with her the next day. They did not have a chance to meet on site. It was the end of the day when she got back to him. She said she would be open to having this discussion. We've tried to follow up since then to no avail.
Okay.
We were here obviously 2 weeks ago. We heard from our neighbors, had a great conversation with several of them after the meeting, talked to Ms. Schumann on the phone for about 45 minutes last week, I believe. And been emailing back and forth with Mary as well. So we do want to find a way out. It's beneficial to our development. We think it'd be beneficial to Tractor Supply, to Food Line, everybody else. So it's in our best interest to try to continue to work that way. We were hoping to have some updated information to provide to you all on that this week. We just haven't been able to get the responses back. So I did talk to Randy on Friday, and he agreed that if we can get something lined up, he'd be happy to sit on a conference call with us. I think it's in everybody's best interest. You know, somebody brought up, what's happened this weekend in other parts of the state and adjacent, and just from an overall emergency safety standpoint, I do want to show that we do have, even with this layout, even if a road was not officially right-of-way punched through to connect our lot to the right-of-way that was put in when the stoplight at the bottom of Food Line and Tractor Supply was installed, we do intend to build the road up to that point. You know, we would build it up to the property line, and as we've done in other projects for emergency access, we could stick a removable bollard in, we could stick a gate in there that would have fire department access. So worst case scenario, if that right-of-way didn't get built out in the future and this was approved, we would still build it out, so there would be emergency access in and out of that neighborhood should something happen at that depot entrance that some of our neighbors have brought up. But again, it is in our best interest and the community's best interest if we can get this worked out. That's why we think it's important that if we can work together with the town and the town sees the benefit of doing this, maybe we can get some traction with those owners. If not, we'll come back and we'll ask Planning Commission to make a recommendation on the project as we have before you tonight. We feel that it's a good project. It meets the future land use map, but we know the access and the traffic's the biggest concern.
Sure. One more item, Steve, is a concern was brought up about a lot that we may allow access to Justin Lane.
Yeah, the lot, I believe, she was speaking about were these two lots here. There are townhomes here now. So I think it's this, there's a little remnant lot at the end of Justin Lane. The problem is that still has to go across. There's no way to use that to connect here because you've got townhomes in this area now. Okay. It's just not showing up on this old map. So we'd still have to cut across Tractor Supply. So we have the same issue. So there's no intent from our project to try to make that connection. That doesn't do anything with us.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay, commissioners, have at it.
I've been waiting.
Yes, sir.
Well, first of all,
Can you bring the microphone closer so the recording can begin? Thanks.
I'm not sure, Steve, how anyone's come up with that traffic when you have 90 townhomes. Even if they were one person in each one, that's less than 50% leaving in the morning, leaving and coming back at night. That's pretty much a ridiculous statement in my mind. You got 90 townhomes with 2 parking spots, and as somebody's already pointed out, you're gonna have a heck of a lot more traffic than 40 or 43, whatever that ridiculous number was. But whoever does those traffic studies, this has happened before, I think you need to buy them a calculator so that they can add properly, because it's not coming out properly in my mind. That's a minor issue. The bigger issue that I have is I've driven through that whole place today. I also drove behind Food Lion and Tractor Supply. And driving past Tractor Supply, I had to wait while they moved some equipment, which obviously they're entitled to do since they own the property there. I foresee a humongous problem with this whole project, whether you have that right of way or not. If you have that right of way, you're going to add a whole lot more traffic to Food Lion, Tractor Supply, and any other business that goes in there, all exiting on a traffic light on Roanoke Street. That's going to be a nightmare trying to get through anything. I am totally opposed to this project, no matter which way you do it. I would push to make a recommendation tonight, but I think it might be some people are not in favor of it. I personally would vote no on it, whether it's tonight or next month. I am not happy with a lot of the things in the project. Unfortunately, seeing it on video on Zoom, we didn't see where everybody was pointing on the project, so I didn't get a chance to see all of that project. But having driven that today, that would be a disaster as far as traffic goes. And I'm totally against it.
Yeah, I concur with you, Tom, on the traffic there. I also drove back there. I was blown away because I went into the Food Lion parking lot thinking, well, there's a road that goes back there. It has to be. And I was just, again, blown away that I had to go all the way around to Hans Meadow and then wind all the way through there. And I know what you guys are talking about because I came to that division there and I went, okay, left or right? And I did get it right.
But when you have the renters and they have their friends coming constantly, they're coming down the wrong way. It's happening worse since maybe.
At excessive speeds.
Yeah, we're having that. Like,
Okay, commissioners, you've been
I know
fairly
this
quiet.
neighborhood really well. I've lived here so long, I know every neighborhood in this town. And I would hike through that neighborhood when it was just still forest to the Hill Shopping Center when it was here
That's
in
right,
town.
yeah.
So I've been here a long time. I joined the commission because I wanted to help plan the future of the town. We need townhouses. We've got nice townhouse neighborhoods, but we also have great residential neighborhoods. And I don't think a townhouse neighborhood on the end of a nice neighborhood, forcing people to drive through that neighborhood, it's actually inconvenient for the townhouse folks. The people who live there already, it changes their entire environment where they live. So I'm like Tom, I would vote no.
Mike, any comments?
Yeah, first, this applies to all Virginia. Item number 5, pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3112, Section B1, and 2.2-3115, Section H, I'm declaring that I am a member of one of 3 or more businesses that may be affected by the agenda items. As an owner of an electrical and electronic security contractor, I am able to participate in the discussion and voting on this matter fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. My first question is, if we were to table this, who can bring it back up and put it on the agenda? Is that staff? Is that the applicant? Is that us or any of those? Or how does that work?
So, what? Yeah, it'll just be added to the agenda.
Right, so we would
We would
table
table
it.
it for a certain period.
We would table it
Correct.
most likely till our next meeting.
Okay.
Correct, 'cause that will be 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yes.
And then it will postpone the act. I'm sorry. So it will go on the agenda. The next planning commission meeting is in 2 weeks, which was the request. That will also postpone the public hearing for the town council. So it will change what's set at this point. And so,
So it's not possible, and sometimes in the past, we've been able to delay our decision while town council concurrently has their public hearing, because they then make a decision at the later meeting. In this case, if we do not make a decision tonight, we'll have to postpone the town council public hearing. We can't keep that date and delay our decision.
Town council can still hold their public hearing, and they could hold their action pending your recommendation.
So for those who could not on the recording, we could delay our decision and town council could still hold their public hearing and would delay making a decision until we've made a recommendation. But usually in the past, we have been able to make a recommendation before it comes to the town council agenda night when they are to take action. So we've never delayed so long that we have delayed a town council action.
Correct.
I think we could vote on it tonight too, that's my guess. I don't know how many other feel that way, but I think we need to take a poll on how many feel that way.
Tom, I think our options are, yes, we can do that, or we can have a motion that tables it for a period of time of 2 weeks till we can get more information on potentially this road going through.
I don't think the road's gonna make a difference.
So I think that's the question then. It's for all planning commissioners. I think that each planning commissioner needs to make a decision. Does having access through Tractor Supply and Food Line parking lot change a commissioner's vote possibly? Because if the answer is whether they have access or not, you're gonna vote no. And if that's the case for every planning commissioner, then I don't know that there is worth the reason to delay unless there's other information that would be helpful. But if there are planning commissioners where delaying and knowing the answer to that question could potentially change a commissioner's decision or vote, then I think we delay. But I think each commissioner probably has a different.
Well, I thought you agreed after seeing that road too, through there, that it's really not a road.
Not now.
Even then it wouldn't be. You've got Tractor Supply using that as their docking and loading and unloading station, and that's not gonna change.
So I do have one clarification, and Steve, maybe you can answer this one. If that road does go through, would there still be access from the back way through the neighborhood?
There would be, yes, sir. And we did have a conversation about Tractor Supply specifically. The town had actually looked, and you guys may have, I don't know which drawing you've got there, but the town had actually done a layout several years ago to show this connection from Tractor Supply to Sherwood.
Yes.
Yep, that one right there. So as we were talking a few weeks ago about this connection, and I'd have to defer exactly the verbiage that Brandy brought up, but that there was some discussion with engineering as far as what we could do for that road in there, to be sure Tractor Supply could continue either their operation as it sits or rework their operation in there. And Mr. Woody's open to, you know, the financial piece of making that work in that section. I mean, it would have to be built and operate and act as a full public road from the end of our road right here all the way out to where it comes into town right of way, which is one of those exhibits that we had when the plats were done originally for the right of ways that was dedicated on those old Gay and Neal plats that we shared. So it would have to exist, be dedicated, maintained to a public standard by the town, you know, with that full dedication. So we could work out what would be necessary around here with the loading, unloading, with Tractor Supply.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Well, I feel you still have a problem with whether that's an open road or not, because as I said earlier, you're gonna have more traffic coming through there. And that does not eliminate the problem of people going out the other way, which would be another disaster area.
Yeah, that was my other comment. That's why I asked the question, would there be two accesses in? Because coming through that neighborhood would be just a disaster, in my opinion, and safety hazard as well. So, and then if we do limit it just to one way past the Food Line Shopping Center there, to your point, that's a lot of traffic coming back out into Roanoke Street too, and with the Tractor Supply and Food Line there, that's a lot of traffic there as well. So,
Hill, are you saying that townhouse development would only have one entrance in, and that would be from down Roanoke Street.
That's
That
not
would-
what
that would
Steve
not
said.
leave the neighborhood.
There would be two right now. But I would be totally against having access from that neighborhood.
Protecting the neighborhood
Yeah.
seems to be paramount.
Because I think that would be disastrous going through there, and it's not a good situation, all that traffic coming out onto Roanoke Street, but it's a heck of a lot better than going through a neighborhood.
But you have no guarantee you're gonna have that many people using that route.
Well, the
Depends
other
on where
route's
they're
not
going.
available.
Depends on where they're going. If they're going to Blacksburg, they're gonna probably come down to Depot Street and go that way.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it's not, if it's not available.
Yeah.
That's for 60.
Even if it is available, I think you'd have a lot of people using the residential
And,
street.
and the other reason for my concern there is to not allow the access to the neighborhood would be exactly what was brought up. The train station is going down on Depot Street.
Yeah.
And the fact that if you don't think that's gonna get a lot of traffic and attention, and it's gonna have a transit situation with buses, it's gonna be a busy area.
Yeah, I think if I'm coming from Cambria and I'm going to Food Lion, I don't think I'm making the left onto Roanoke and then another left at two lights there. I think I'm cutting through the neighborhood, so.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that it's just, where the townhouses is planning to be built, I don't see it.
Well, at this point, we have two options. We can make a motion to extend it and take it up in 2 weeks at our next meeting, or someone can make a motion for a vote tonight.
I'll make a motion for a vote tonight.
And you want to verify that motion, to be specific as to what your motion is?
My motion is to say no to the project overall.
I think you should probably save what's in the agenda.
So, there's two items, Tom.
Okay, to the rezoning.
One would be the rezoning, and one would be the conditional use permit. They do go hand in hand, but to the extent that we would have to take a vote and a motion on each one, and it's simply, if the rezoning doesn't happen, of course, the CUP is not gonna happen.
Well, then I would make a motion to say no to the rezoning as the first motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I can second that.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion in saying no to this action as a rezoning, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No, I'm willing to give the applicant a chance for another, see what they come up with.
Okay.
But I am opposed to the project.
Okay, so with default, that makes the conditional use permit null. Do we need to take a motion on that? Yeah,
I think we did last time we did this, we took an action just for record purposes.
okay. So, Tom, you wanna make a motion on item D?
I make a motion that we don't, accept it, we don't approve it,
The conditional use
the
permit?
conditional use permit.
Okay.
I'll
Do I-
second.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. All right. From there, guys, what happens is, that's gonna be our recommendation to town council, and, they will carry on with the public hearing, and I, encourage you all to be there, and it would be, Tuesday, October 8th at 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, I thought you said no clapping.
I was gonna say earlier, you guys did great with no applauding tonight, thank you.
We can be taught.
Thanks for coming out. Okay, we're gonna move on to, action item 5A and B, and, take these together. And at this point, we'll go into discussion point. I don't think I need to repeat the rezoning request or the conditional use permit at this point, unless anyone wants me to. Otherwise, I think the things that I noticed most about this was the 24 units per apartment rather than 12 units per apartment. I'm not totally against that. I understand it takes up less room, but it is a difference. The setback of 10 foot versus the normal 15 foot. Again, I'm not totally against that either. And the height of 50 feet versus the normal height of 35 feet. I'm not totally against that either. I think the way that it was laid out with all the infrastructure makes sense. The density, 10 units per acre, is spot on. Potential conditions, I think these were all fantastic, and hopefully they were acceptable to the applicant. And then I'm getting tired of talking, so.
You're doing a great job.
You're doing great.
I didn't
I'll
think
let
that
you
was
guys-
possible.
So, what do you think, commissioners?
I mean, I appreciated the acknowledgement that the 24 units was really just the 212 put together, which did save space. I appreciated that. I mean, that's what I saw when I looked at that. It makes sense to me. I mean, I understand why we do 12, but it didn't feel like it was out of the ordinary or concerning building size or unit number size.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate the condition, construction traffic prohibited from using College Street, so that was important to me.
Is that gonna add a lot of traffic to Bishop's Gate? Cause that's a subdivision there.
It is. You've got two ways in and out, so.
Yeah.
I
I saw that, but.
The one concern I had on traffic was, yeah, if you do go out Bishop's Way? is that-
Bishop's Gate.
Bishop Gate,
Yeah, then you end up coming around Mud Pike at that light that backs up there.
Yeah, and besides that, just that drive through Bishop's Gate is a nightmare in and of itself.
And you've got,
It's a
you've
blind
got,
spot.
it's actually, you've got a couple ways out. I mean, you've got Bishop's Gate and you've got Moose, but
Right.
from Bishop's Gate, you can go up, hit Diana, go down Harkrader, get
That's
over
true,
to Radford Street, go down to Mud
Yeah.
Pike and head back out the other way as well. So this was always kind of the last piece, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, the last piece of Kensington to develop out. We'd always hoped to do multifamily on this. So we're excited about it.
The normal questions, the width of the road, the hydrants.
Yep, this would be, again, Mr. Bernard, full town road, so this would be a public road built through here. And again, you've got at least 24 feet in all your drive aisles here. You can see our water line in blue right there as it loops through. So we've got hydrants in various locations along there, but you would have that full access.
And they have outside dumpster.
Mhm. Yep, dumpster locations here, here, and one right down there.
Fire hydrants.
Yes, sir.
And Steve, timing of the road would go in first?
Road's gotta go in the first phase and be complete prior to the issuance of the first certificate of occupancy.
The sidewalks and curb and gutter on the sidewalk.
Yep, sidewalks on both sides of the street per town code. Road itself would be curb and gutter inside of the development itself, and you can see the sidewalks facing, adjacent to all the buildings, parking lots, and then bumping out to the roads as well.
There's my understanding is, and it may or may not have anything to do with it, but that, the end of, Moose Drive there, when you get to Main Street, that traffic light is terrible. If you wanna go left, if you wanna go right, it's fine.
Right.
But if you wanna go left, you sit there for 2 or 3 lights.
Is that light controlled by VDOT or the town?
Depends who you ask. We were told VDOT, and we had a guy called VDOT, and they said, no, it's the town.
What was it, Randy?
I think that would be VDOT, that person.
Yeah, I would guess so
Well,
too.
you should have got a call from a guy today or yesterday that said he called VDOT, and they told him it was the town.
Like I say, I think they're by the interstate, I think that would be.
In any case, we should look at that light
Yeah.
to make sure that it can address the proper traffic coming out. The other thing, the clubhouse and pool
Mm-hmm.
would be ready to go before the first tenant moved in?
I believe,
That was a potential condition.
yeah, the conditions that were put in by staff and that we had included, yeah, we're in agreement with those.
Okay.
I don't remember right off the top of my head, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, yeah, I see it now, yep.
Page 3 of the staff report for the CDP, I think, yeah.
Okay. So there were potential conditions of 8, and you have no issues with those, Steve?
That's correct.
Okay. Any other comments?
The setbacks, where were those at?
So the setbacks we're asking for, in the ordinance, it says that all buildings, all multifamily buildings should be 15 feet away from a parking lot.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's the one, and we've asked for that on other projects in the past. It's a little, it's an older code, you know. And I think we have that on most of these. There just may be some based on final grading or layout that we might have to get a little closer, so we just wanted a little bit of flexibility in that. But that's the setback that we're talking about, none of the exterior around the adjacent properties.
And any water concerns?
Stormwater?
Yeah, we are talking about
There-
close to College Street.
There are. You know, the town obviously has their project going on right here. When we did the Woody property, just above, we did some over detention in that system, in that stormwater pond. There's an existing pond that was put in here when we did Good Samaritan Hospice and some of the grading work 12, 13 years ago. So we're assuming that pond's gonna get quite a bit bigger, as you can see in the blue, and we would anticipate over detaining beyond state standards to help with some of the College Street
Okay.
concerns.
Okay. Any staff, any engineering issues or concerns on this? No? Okay.
Compared to other apartments in town, like Hillside, I live near that one, what are the size of the units, how do they compare?
I don't know, we did Hillside, but that was a long time ago. I don't remember the size of those units, but Lynn or Brian could speak to that.
One bedrooms around 800, 2 bedrooms 1100.
Same as these.
About the same.
Yep, so all about the same, slight variance depending on where it's located, but
We just opened the Madison on Pepper's Ferry, past the mall, and planning to build the same type of homes.
It looks nice.
it does.
Okay. Other comments, commissioners? Are we at a point? Well, do I have a motion to move forward? We have 2 items. So, again, it's A and B. Do I have a motion on the rezoning?
I thought I just said that.
I didn't. I didn't hear it.
I make a motion to accept the rezoning.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to item B, conditional use permit for the same property. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the conditional use permit with the 8 conditions mentioned in the staff report on page 3.
So noted.
I can second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, guys. All right. And with that, we move on to other business. Any other business, staff?
You gonna give us an update on 81?
Oh, you know what? I had some brochures in the car. I'll bring them next time.
Okay.
And I do have an update on it. So, it's taking a lot longer than they thought. Any comments from commissioners?
Boil your water.
Yeah, boil your water.
I didn't see
And
that
I would like to thank you, Mike and Mark, for taking patrols last week. And appreciate you really filling in for us. And
We really thank Mike for facilitating the meeting. It was a
you guys did an excellent job.
brilliant effort.
And do appreciate that. And hopefully we won't run into that situation again. So with that,
Oh, can I ask before you adjourn?
You may, because you have the ballot.
Perfect, so we didn't actually close until I'm done. Is there stuff on the docket for October 14th?
Not since you took action
Okay,
tonight.
because I'm not gonna be here, so I just wanna make sure I wasn't gonna be skipping out and leaving two commissioners.
No.
And
Someone else
I
is
won't be
traveling.
here.
I'm solo parenting, I mean,
Okay.
I've got responsibilities, this one's living life.
Oh, the 14th is the comprehensive plan subcommittee meeting.
Okay,
So do we, who else is gonna attend that? I attend that.
yeah.
So-
Mike, you go to that too.
Yeah, I did miss the last one, I was out of town, but yeah.
You wanna be on
I'll send it to all of
it?
you,
There's still
and
be
then
3 of us there.
whoever
Yeah,
wants to
unless you
attend.
want a 2-year-old there
I'm on,
who's.
I'm on that committee.
Well, kids,
I won't be there, so go for it.
See if I can get my kids to sit still. They know the importance of being involved in community. Yeah, I mean, I will probably not be there just because I'm with my kids. My spouse is out of town. I did this last one, but would we have enough folks to have the subcommittee on the 14th? Because if Hill and I are not there,
As long as we have one.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Just as long as there's representation.
is that helpful though? I didn't know if rescheduling would be helpful or not. If we wanted to keep it.
You can talk to them, and if they
Yeah.
wanna push it back.
bump it back,
I just don't want
Yeah.
it to be a non-helpful
Yeah.
meeting. If it's a small crowd and action can still be taken and there's progress that can be made forward with a smaller group, then I say go for it. I just didn't want a hold up or wasting one's time.
Well,
No action will be taken.
Okay.
It's just
Yeah.
reviewing what we've done.
Okay.
and dependent
Trust me.
on how much they've done since the last one,
Right.
you know.
Okay.
It's a lot of information.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe they can at least like email it out, so like if Hill and I can't be there, we can at least be up to date by the next time we meet. Okay.
Okay, with that, meeting adjourned.
Yeah.